What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin today. It is the 20th day of November, and we're moving right through this month. 91.4K is the price, 9 hours and 21 minutes left in this day. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it. Yesterday, I gave you a little bit of a pep talk as to why I don't expect that we're in a bear market and why likely this breakout proves to be a fake out. And we can go over that a little bit here, but I predominantly want to keep this video about the TA, but there are some things I want to talk about before we get too far into the TA. First and foremost, I respect Ben Cohen a lot. I think everybody does. After this year, he has the respect. I mean, he had my respect years ago, but after this year especially, he's basically got a perfect track record all of 2025. And I disagreed with his post here. I'm only referring to this because I know he's a prominent figure, and I'm sure a lot of you have seen this post. And he said, one sign of a cycle being over is when you get to extreme fear and no bounces occur. I would argue that the signs at the top being in continue to mount. I answered back and I said, Ben, don't let your bias confuse the data. Or I said, don't let your bias confuse the data, Ben. Last time we saw extreme fear in the markets, we flirted with that zone for about a month before sending it to new all-time highs. Bitcoin literally pumped 50% in about 1.5 months after being in levels of or around extreme fear for about 1 month. We've only seen extreme fear levels for less than a week at this point. It's far too early to use the lack of a bounce as evidence of the commencement of a bear market. In other words, just because we haven't bounced yet, whenever we got into extreme fear, like basically here, it hasn't even been a week yet, give us a chance, right? Because we were in extreme levels of fear back here since March to April. We extreme fear here. We did have a little bit of a bounce, but not really. The real bounce came over here. But again, even here, the move didn't really pick up until about here. That's whenever the pace really started to pick up. I guess we had a nice bounce here. But again, after being fearful and extremely fearful for about a month, we look at the fear and greed index here. We literally got into fear in March, and then we didn't get out of extreme fear. We didn't bounce and continue higher until April, a month later. So we can hang out in these areas for a long time without seeing any kind of recovery. A month is not a long time, but relatively a long time. If you're looking at the charts every day, a month can feel like forever. We can hang out at these levels for a little while, and then we can move up. We don't have to, just because we're here now. That's actually a common misconception. And by the way, and I'm addressing this because I don't want people to be confused in the future. This is a misconception, what Ben's saying. I think he knows this. I'm sure that when he said this, he was probably just feeling some type of way, and he thought that this was a catalyst. We all make mistakes, but this is a misconception. Just because we hit extreme fear does not mean we're due for a bounce. We can hang out at extreme levels of fear for a long time. It doesn't need to be an immediate thing, but more or less, these extreme levels do typically identify low points in the market. Is it to a T? Is it perfect? No. Nothing is, though, right? And the thought here being that with the extreme levels of fear that we have, I don't care how much lower we go. Last time, again, we saw a 50% bounce in about a month and a half. Or no, sorry. I think it was 50. Let's see. From April 7th. Yeah, it was about a month and a half. We saw a 50% bounce. If Bitcoin from here were to pump any degree, right? Like we were to pump 10%, 5%, not even 50%, we're back in this pattern. We're effectively proving that this was a false breakout or a failed breakout attempt. Whenever you have a pattern at this magnitude with a failed breakout attempt to the upside, you'd expect rapid downside. To the downside, you'd expect rapid upside. So pair that with the fact on the pattern itself and the fear, the levels of fear in the market. And last time we saw a nice bounce. I would think here we're due for a bounce as well. We're due for some sharp recovery. That's the expectation. If we're looking at this on the 1 hour, let's zoom in now. Looking at the 1 hour time frame. $90.8 thousand. We are decaying in volume as we're moving down. Or I guess we're not really. I guess we're kind of building. We got that. Actually, we do have a good bit of volume here at this low. We're not really decaying, but we didn't go anywhere. Whenever you get a lot of volume and you're just finding support, you don't go anywhere. You get a lot of volume, it's like breakout magnitude volume, and you don't go anywhere. Typically, that means you reverse, and we did. We haven't really carried on with that, have we? So maybe we come down. Let's look at these indicators. The 1 hour RSI is looking bearish. Hold on real quick, guys. My daughter's crying. Hold on. Sorry guys, I've genuinely actually tried to make this video like 3 different times, so I refuse to restart it now. At this point, I don't care if, if the daughter's crying or not, man. It's very early in the morning. I'm the one that's up at this time. You know, we got a newborn. I don't need to explain my whole life, but I wake up early. I deal with the toddler. Wife sleeps in and deals with the baby. Well, she doesn't sleep in, right? She's got the newborn. She's probably getting less sleep than I do. But anyways, 1 hour time frame. Enough about me. Let's talk about you. Looking at the RSI here, rejecting the overbought zone here consistently seems to be what we're doing, right? What I like, well, this is what I don't like, but what I do like is that we were getting oversold a good bit. Now we're starting to see signs where we're getting some higher lows. Perhaps on this attempt here, we do provide another higher low and one that doesn't get oversold. That could signal a shift in momentum, and that could really build for some bullish momentum to be built over the coming days. We might have a good weekend, maybe. I don't expect much. It is Thursday, so between Saturday and Sunday, I'm not expecting much to happen. So if we are to make a move up or down, that would probably happen between now and Friday. But just looking at this here, I would think we move down a little bit more. Okay, looking at the 1 hour RSI, I would think we move down a little bit more, but I don't think that we move below this low. If we do stand a chance of giving some bullish divergence, but I don't think we move below this low, so we will hold 89,000 as support is my guess. We're at 91.1K now, and we should, I would think, by the end of today and probably really going into tomorrow, Friday, we should be moving up higher. That's my thoughts. Stochastics are at a good area to bounce. The RSI kind of is, but you could go lower. Stochastics can go lower as well. MACD looks like it's crossing above the zero, and that signals, again, a shift in momentum to the upside as well. 4 hour time frame looking at this, we do have bullish divergence. If we look at this here, low, higher low, right? Bullish divergence, low, lower low, lower low. And we are definitely getting that shift in momentum here on the 4 hour time frame. The stochastics kind of have bullish divergence. I would call that bullish divergence, yeah. But you've already seen that move come out. And then the MACD also has bullish divergence, which I would say the move hasn't fully played out. So yes, again, if we go lower from here, we're at $90.9 thousand right now. I doubt that we go below 89K. And I do expect that we will see prices likely above 95K within the next 24 to 36 hours. Probably within the next 24 hours that will see prices above 95K again. Nice. And then likely we consolidate over the weekend. It's going to be a boring weekend. Maybe we move up over Saturday, we move down over Sunday, we move down Saturday, we move up Sunday, whatever. Maybe both days are up, both days are red, but I expect it to be very boring. We probably don't move too far one way or the other between the days of Saturday and Sunday. Looking at the daily time frame here, we don't have any bullish divergence on the MACD. We don't have any bullish divergence on the RSI, and I guess we do have a little bit of bullish divergence on the stochastics, which is nice, but not really anything to signal that we're ready to turn around yet, other than on the 4 hour time frame. So do be aware, my friends, while we are at levels of extreme fear, and while we haven't had a bounce yet, right? We've seen extreme levels of fear before, and the price, just to put that in perspective, was at 83.7K. 1 month later, we dropped down to 74K. You know, about $10,000 less. So I'm not saying that we'll drop down to 80K from here. I'm just saying if we are at extreme levels of fear here, we can go lower, and everything that we're expecting to break back into this pattern to provide a false break can still happen, right? It looks better though. It looks best. A fake out is best had sooner than later though, right? We want to do this sooner than later. The longer we stay down here, in my opinion, the longer, I don't care, you know, if we come back up, the more that would provide that we'd probably go back down. That's just my thoughts. So the sooner the better. We are kind of, we kind of have a timer on this, right? So it's been a few days since we've been broken out. I would like it if we weren't under this line for too much longer, but time will tell. Anyways, I don't really have anything else that I want to say. I think I've said everything I need to say. The daily RSI is the weakest that it's been since February of this year, which again, we were at some pretty low points here in February, March, right there, but we still went lower, right? The fear and greed, the RSI, very comparable to this area here. It took months and then we moved up. The only difference here is I do think we're at a low point, but I don't think it's going to take months for us to move up, right? I think we will see some initial recovery, but it may take months. It may take like a month or two before we see new all-time highs. It's very possible that we don't see new all-time highs by the end of the year, and in which case everything kind of shifts as far as timing expectations go. But I think that we'll be fine, guys. Anyways, I got nothing else for you. Hit the like button, subscribe, take care of yourselves. Bye bye.